We will leave this house. We will not stay here. Your father doesn't love me and you anymore. He changed. They sobbed, holding his slightly showing bum in a 4 or 5 month old pregnant. Tear poured from his eyes, remembering Jungkook. He went to the army base, leaving his heavily pregnant but dangerous mood swing wife back. Right now, they was craving for food, but to his bad, he had taken their car keys because they was quick enough in getting inside the car and having whatever they was craving for. Anything, but unhealthy. Baby, when will you grow up? We will make your father regret over what he did. They again talked to his bum. His emotions were unbalanced. They was feeling tired still. He didn't want to rest. They wanted to scream, but he was loving the peace too. More tears from in his eyes, saying how messed up he's being. They already know these things will happen, and he was free to endure everything. But in real life, it's harder than he read. They were sweeping without any reason again when he felt a pair of hands encircling around him. His mouth smelled, calmed their nerve and body relaxed. He slowly raised his shirt from his stomach and carried the bump behind him, rubbing his fingers slowly, nuzzling his nose to the cheeks, and then he heard the giggle. Mission complete. As he entered inside the house, he directly went to the room to see his wife weeping again, and when he knew that whatever was happening with Tae was a part of process of being the little princess in their life. Princess. Yeah, Jungkook strongly believed that it's the girl inside Tae, but Taehyung, it's believed its son. God knows who is inside, but one thing that they both know is they are happiness with anything. They just want a healthy baby. Leave me. I'm not talking to you. They said once Jungkook stopped his ticklish act, he thought he was successful. Distraction. But how wrong he was. Come out of his head. They walked to the kitchen and started to searching for a ball. All the while Jungkook was following Tae like a puppy, and he knew better than stop Tae in this time. They ignored him and took a ball out, filling it up with water. They put it on the stove, grabbing a packet to tower it, and then start to cut a lot of chilies. A lot of actually. Jungkook's eyes backed out, seeing that amount of it tried to say something, but they saw his famous cute yet scary claw. Clubbing, he just stood and watched until a loud warm voice across the hall. They both, looking and walked toward, they confused. The sign in front of them made they even more confused, and Jungkook froze. He cursed under the breath and glared at the lady in front of him. Jungkook, darling, a bag hanging around the shoulder. Hearing her, the eyes find it, and he froze. They went closer, seeing the woman calling her husband darling. His pregnancy did a great job and made the emotion quick soon. They saw how the woman walked to her husband and tried to embrace her. Mr. Rose, have a seat first, he asked, and Cole stared at his wife. The woman again sighed and took a step back and got seated. She still ignored all. Jungkook went to Tae and smiled nervously. He grabbed the waist slowly and leaned to sit beside him. When Tae sat beside him, Rose noticed her and gave a confused look. Tae, it's Rose, one of our new partner. And Rose, he's Mrs. John Taehyung, my wife. He introduced them, and that woman shot a judgment look to Tae and smiled. Tae too smiled back and murmured, "Nice to meet you, Rose." "Likewise, darling," Jungkook said. Uncomfortable silence until Rose herself started talking. "I was going to leave for London tonight, so I thought to pay you a last visit until next," she said. Her voice again was extra sweet, which didn't said with all that Tae. He looked down when Jungkook nodded with her word. Soon a maid came with some refreshments. It's okay, Rose. We welcome you in our home, Rose commanded after a while. Jungkook happily nodded and put his hand lovely on Taehyung's swollen stomach. Rose smiled, and seeing them, Jungkook looked at him with love only to see Tae glaring at him. Jungkook cleared his thought as the situation went more uncomfortable. He was worried for Tae, who was looking glaring at Rose, who was just smiling and taking to her own self. After like half an hour, the torture was ended, and Rose got up, Jungkook in his arm embracing him. Their eyes pointed the way she was here all the time made it clear for Rose that, like Jungkook, but he's mine, they yelled in mine and put hand on Jungkook's shoulder. He was won first by the sudden hug. He was not expecting it. As he felt their hand, he tried to coming out of his embrace. Okay, Jan, I'll take my leave, he said, and Rose said, holding his both hands. It was all making Tae jealous. He kept looking and glaring at the hand which was noticed by Jungkook. Although he was worried for him, but his jealousy form was making him feel happy. His mate, seeing the way Jungkook bit his inner lip, he was so wanted to bite their red cheeks, but Dad remained himself. And yes, try to visit London soon. I'm sure you will enjoy the company, and I show you many things that I think you missed out here, Jungkook said. They looked at him and winked at Jungkook. Their mouth went dry in anger in the word, but before he could say anything, Jungkook, who was enjoying it till now, said, Rose, I didn't think I was missing anything. Actually, I'm having more than I deserve, and I was about to visit. Then I will try to visit them soon, with my child and my wife. Rose directed a fake smile and went out. As she walked out, they glared and smirked smile, which burned Rose to the core. Banging the door shut, they went away, leaving an angry yet happy wife, and guilty yet excited husband back. Through turning around, he took his hand around his chest, making it look more visible. Jungkook stood there looking at Tae with a smile. Their eyes landed on that thin lips of lips. It too thin line. Jungkook smiled naughtily and said, Are you jealous, sweetheart? Hearing that, they hold his collar and pull him down. It was sudden for Jungkook, who was not ready by the force. He was pulled down and they grabbed his jaw while their noses were almost touched. Jungkook was surprised by his bold act, that he stayed frozen until they squeezed his jaw and said, You're mine. Hearing this, Jungkook came to his thoughts and smiled naughtily. Rounding his hands around the waist, he pulled him closer. Tae was surprised, confident. Till now, all his confidence flew away when Jungkook rounded his hand. Being pregnant, Tae was too sensitive nowadays. That his light touch made him shiver. His warm hand, the cold skin made the shiver and he closed his eyes. Jungkook then leaned toward Tae and nuzzled his rose to his cheeks before biting it hard. Tae beamed and opened his eyes to look at him, who was smiling at him. Correct. I'm all yours, and you're mine, he said before taking the lips. I'm a surgeon girl. They rounded his hand around his neck while pulling him closer. Jungkook smiled and a kiss before closing his eyes. Once he pulled back, and they shyly looked away. His cheeks were red and eyes filled with shyness. They quickly turned around and was about to walk away when Jungkook grabbed his hand and pulled him toward him. His back collided with his friend, and they bit his lips, rounded his hand around the swollen stomach. He felt their children, putting the chin on the shoulder. He nuzzled his face into their neck, inhaling and said, that put his hand over his still shyness. I don't know how you're still shy around me. We're having a child. Please, never change, sweetheart, he said and chuckled and placed his kiss on their neck, making their cheeks were more redder, and they giggled. And he rubbed his face on his neck before they could say anything. He started placing many kisses on his neck. His hand started growing up and touched that beer all the time. They were slowly sipped, was game until he heard the phone ringing. They tried to come out of his embrace, but as always, ignored the call, which was very obvious for Tae. They bit his lips to control his hormones. Major, they groaned when he grabbed one of his bosom. They heard the call ended, but before they can relax a bit, his phone again started ringing. Knowing it must be important to Tae, he had to stop him. Turning around, pick up his face, who was with his chest now, pushed it. His chest turned into more red, and they bit his lips once and twice, then telling him about the call. Once he was in control, he groaned and hugged her tightly. I can never get enough of you, he breathed, which they blushed, and whispered, I don't want to get enough of me. With a shy smile, he completed, and Jungkook peeked his forehead and mumbled, How innocent your talk are. They gasped at the sentence and looked at him with winded eyes. I never say any dirty words. It's just you. Me. I don't remember saying any dirty words. Can you remind of any of that words? They opened his mouth to say but as soon as his word. His mind, his heartbeat increased and cheeks turned more red. They looked at him, who was looking at him with sneer. They knew he played him. They looked down slowly with his hand again touching his cheeks. But before he could do anything else, his phone rang, and Jungkook groaned while Taehyung took a breath of relief. He started to talk on the phone while they kept looking at him and his husband. Indeed, was the best husband he could ask for, to touch the belly where the precious star was resting. Touching his belly, he looked at him and ended the call. Looked at Tae with guilty face. What happened? They asked. They really wished he could go. Jungkook wanted to spend some time with him, but this next word made Tae angry. I need to go. General is calling me. As he completed was happy look, and they made him lips in a pout and turn around. Go. I'm right. You don't love me now. They said, and his eyes filled with tears. Pregnancy did a great job too. Jungkook walked beside him and calling him, but his angry wife just closed the door on his face. Taehyung, sweetheart. Taehyung, my sweetheart, listen.